Hey, what's up everyone? It's Tim here from Garden State Koi, and we're back at a project that we built earlier in the season located in Woodstock, New York. If you go back and check out the link about us building this project, it was a really hard time, but we had a blast making this beautiful creation that's behind me. One thing about this pond is this is the second pond in this location. When we came up here earlier this summer or early spring, this place was a real disaster, if I could say the least. There was rubber liner exposed all over the place, small little rocks that would be falling in, and the pond could not stay clear. It was green water, not a healthy environment, and the wetland filter you see behind me, that didn't even have any plants or wasn't even built properly. So they called my team in from Garden State Koi after Thomas Smith came out and visited the homeowners to reconstruct the pond. We actually had to rip everything out of here, dispose of all the old liner, all the old fabric, and some of the rubble rock and debris. We came back in, we set new fabric, new liner, made proper shelves for stability, and built this beautiful creation behind us. Let's go take a look at this pond and some of the special features that we have in this awesome water feature. So we're gonna start off on the pump intake area. This is where the pumps are housed. We have two large pumps and two different pump vaults, and I'm actually standing on one of the vaults right now. In front of me is the suction intake area. That is where all the debris that falls on the surface will be getting sucked into. Now you can see the gathering of all these water hyacinths in this area because all the current is getting pulled this way. Whether it's to the wetland that's on my left or the waterfalls on my right. This is the main intake area for the pond that will gather debris as it falls from the trees and other surrounding areas. If you follow along over here to where the waterfall is, and this is not the main filter for this pond. A lot of times we build ponds at Garden State Koi and we use biofalls, and that's the headway of the waterfall. These are just simply spillways adding a current for the debris to go into that intake area. The main filter is on the other side of the pond, and we'll show you that in a minute. So you can see in front of me, we wanted to keep this waterfall very low. We're working on reverse elevation, and we didn't want it as a big mountain over here. And we wanted it to look more like a stream with multiple drops that you can view from the house in the distance. If you notice, we have a lot of nice little spills that are heavy with water, and the reason for that is the house is set back, and we want to be able to see these. So a little bit of calculation between the amount of water coming out of the pumps, the amount of water going over the rocks. We have a beautiful look going here and a nice soothing sound. Now let's go check out that wetland filter I was talking about on the other side of the pond. So right here we have the Aquascape Wetland Filter System. This is the best filter that you can put on one of your ponds. And when you build one of these, there are special calculations. If you go check out our wholesale department, talk to Luke or Ethan over there, they can give you the right size wetland filter for your pond. This one here was built for that size pond out there, but this is not really a recreation pond, it's more for fish. The wetland filter has to be sized accordingly for what you want to use the pond for. But this is a giant upflow filter. The water gets pumped from that intake area that we were just over at. And as the water rises up through the rock and gravel, you have this beautiful array of plants that sit on the top, taking out a lot of the nutrients in the water. A great mixture of plants inside the wetland is super ideal. As that water flows up through that gravel, all the sediment falls down below, giving you that crystal clear water you see behind me. Another thing on this pond, you can see those bubbles out in the distance. That is the aeration unit. And what is that doing is taking that water from down below and bringing it up to the surface. Keeping that pond nice and cool because down below the water is always a little colder. It also adds agitation to the top of the water and oxygen for the fish. So this stone here is a perfect place for you to be sitting, enjoying the pond. We love putting an area where you can come and mainly greet the pond. That way you have a nice area. Eventually you put a patio in here. We put a nice little pea gravel patio in here. The homeowners have a place to come down and enjoy this beautiful little ecosystem located here in Woodstock, New York. Now take a look at those waterfalls that we were talking about. Now that we're on the other side of the pond, I really love how that water kind of mixes in all over the place, falls in all different directions, splits around large boulders. I really love that natural look. Hey, I want to say thank you for watching this week's YouTube episode. Don't forget to tune in next week for another awesome project like this.